Greetings and salutations, one and all. Welcome to another exciting week, Siege of the Empire, where I, your host, Jordan, aka Mankey Games on the internet, take you on a wonderful journey through the world of Warhammer in the vein of Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition with the help of my wonderful cast of 6 players, of which you can see there are only 4 currently. But that's okay, I know at least one of the other ones is coming. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and turn on Discord. And let's see what everybody's been up to.
Where are them slackers at?
Oh,
Good question.
There's one slacker.
So, just like to let everyone know, you're all much louder than you used to be. I decided to unbox some headphones that I had. We're going to be playing around with the sound today. Sound's going to be a little bit different. Not only for me, but also for what's going on here. So, hopefully you don't make too much noise. I don't have to mute you. Glad everybody could be here.
Whoa.
As far as I know, oh, there he is. Perfect. Good timing. Good timing, Liam. Glad you can make it. So, let's go ahead and jump right into it. Dalton, hello. How has your week been?
It's been alright. I've been slowly getting back to sleep normally. Most of the days this week I've actually fallen asleep at a reasonable time for me and been waking up at a reasonable time. Today, not so much. I fell asleep around 12, but that's whatever. I potentially might have permanently lost another player for my Sunday game, so I got that going. No. Yeah. A little backstory into it. He would message regularly in Discord, and then about a week ago, he just stopped. No message, didn't get on Discord, nothing whatsoever. And then yesterday, he left the campaign, which doesn't make sense. It's either he just totally flaked, or something happened to his accounts. Maybe he got hacked or something like that.
You should be able to search for the account to see if it's active still on Roll20.
Yeah. It's still active. So I'm thinking that it's more of the flaking than hacking, but who knows? Maybe something came up. I don't know. But yeah, I was pretty disappointed because that happened yesterday. Finding out that he left the campaign. So that's fun, and that has been my week. So besides work.
Fantastic.
Not really.
Jackson, how's your week been?
It's been lots of traveling. Went up to Conway, then to Low Oak, then to Cersei, then to Remington Arms, the gun factory.
That sounds cool. Why'd you go there?
Because that's part of my job, is to check out these various plants and factories and see how they're running, offer some solutions on their IT problems.
That sounds cool.
Yeah, so I went in there and asked for a gun as a souvenir, and I got you.
Yeah.
And apparently they can't take a fucking joke. The plant manager thought it was hilarious, though, so managed to salvage some of that.
So what you're saying is your bosses weren't very happy with it.
No, like, I was talking to the operations and the production manager and the plant manager. The plant manager's like, like, if you think of it like each plant's a factory, he'd be the CEO. If that makes sense, you know?
You mean, so what you're saying is he manages the plant?
Yes. All right, yeah, sure. But
That took you a second, Jackson.
yeah.
That
So
took you
anyways,
a solid second. But you know what? You're with us now, and that's what's important.
yeah. So anyways, yeah, I was with them and I was with my coworker, and the coworker and the plant manager thought it was funny. Those two did not. They were like, they're That's pretty much all that happened. Oh, I got stuck in a 40-minute delay on the way back today. I honestly thought I was going to miss this game.
Well, I'm glad you didn't.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And I got to expense every single last thing I did on that trip.
Well, that's also good. Expensing stuff is incredibly amazing.
Mm-hmm. Including mileage.
Fantastic. Well, it's good to hear. Glad you made it. Will, tell us what's been going on with you, sir.
Hello. Last weekend was Glastonbury, so about some of the only time I actually
Bless
watched
you.
TV.
I'm sorry. What was that word again? Can you say that again?
Glastonbury.
All right. Now, I'm going to need you to do me a favor, Will. I'm going to need you to explain what in the fuck that is.
It's only like the largest music festival that we have.
So it's like EDC. Got it.
Or like Coachella Fest.
Yeah,
That's what it
Coachella
sounds
or
like.
EDC or okay. I'm on it. See, that's all you had to say.
But yeah, so that was cool. Loads of live performances. So yeah, that was awesome. Not much really else. Sleeping schedule is messed up again, but when isn't it? But
Yeah, you're on like a permanent sleep scheduling mess up.
yeah. But I'm doing good. So yeah. Is that going alright?
Well, good. Brian, hello. How was
Hi.
your week been?
It's been a pretty nice, easy week. Got into a new game called Dead Cells. It's pretty fun. It's really pretty.
Matt will be happy.
Yeah. That's really about it. This has been an easy week. Last week was the busy one. This is back to old Brian, and I'm happy.
I don't
so
know.
Meg also plays Dead Cells, you said?
Matt does.
Matt.
Yeah, he's been trying to get everybody to buy the game for like 2 weeks now.
Well, they need to. Like now.
Right. Well, that's good. I'm glad you found a game that is occupying your time and that nothing crazy happened.
Yeah, me too.
Megan, let's hear how that microphone sounds.
I don't know. How does it sound?
It's pretty echoey.
Oh no. Okay. Let's see.
There's quite a bit of echo.
I mean, for me, it just sounds like maybe she's trying to give you some kind of prophetic vision, but
Yeah, you know what? In fact, this is probably suited for the character, if we're being honest.
Indeed.
Probably a good fit. Also understand, Megan, that while I'm using my new headset, everything sounds different. So the advantage here is I have heard you with this new headset on already. So it doesn't sound bad. It just sounds a little echoey, to be honest. Just
Any
don't.
better.
A little bit, yeah, I would say. Just don't like scream or try and yodel at any juncture during the game.
ideally don't ever do those things, I think.
Right. Okay. Sounds good.
No, you sound fine. You sound fine.
Okay. I do think that's the best it's gonna get. So I'll try to play with it a little bit. But yeah. So if you
Seems
hadn't
fine.
gleaned, I am not at home. So
Yeah, where have you sequestered yourself inside of your friend's house to play this game? And also, if we could get what you told them that you were going to be doing for the next 4 hours.
I told them exactly what I'm doing. I'm
Okay.
in like a sunroom, like off the front of the house with the door closed.
Yeah.
So you
I don't-
might still hear various people and dogs and such, but it is what it is. This is the best
Puppers.
I can do.
Any noise that I hear through your microphone will automatically be inserted into the game as something.
Oh, sweet. Maybe I'll
So-
just leave my mic live the whole time.
Yeah,
then.
we'll just
Poppers.
yeah, we'll practice my very best improv is what will happen.
Sounds like a challenge. I'm ready.
I expect puppers.
Yeah, no,
You
they're
probably will hear him. He's
I mean, we already know that there are demon dogs as part of this this army. So I mean, it's great. You'll just
Yeah.
encounter like a bunch of those.
Is he good boy?
no, he's the worst.
Wow.
All dogs are good boys.
no, no. You have not met this dog then.
Rip.
Yep. But no, it's fine. So yeah, I'm in Maine, vacation for the week through the 4th. So yeah, that's about it for me.
Okay, fantastic. Liam, hello. Adorable
Yep.
Dragon Knight, which is what I will call you. I don't know why I'm so like locked in on that, but I am, and that's
Don't
you.
get me wrong. It is delightful.
You all have to live with that now. How have you been,
let's
sir?
see. I'm doing all right. The rain is constant and unseasonal. Tomorrow is, of course, Canada Day.
It is.
So
it is
the
indeed.
city is going to be flooded by people, including my parents who are
Copycat.
visiting. Wait, what?
I mean, it's not really a copycat, to be fair. Canada's allowed to have their own day, Jackson.
Yeah, we just have ours 3 days before yours.
Also, so does like every other country on the planet.
Right.
They're all
Question mark.
copying us.
No,
They were
that's
established before us.
right. Funniest thing ever, which I guess could be applied to tomorrow's Canada Day as well, was that message I went in general chat about celebrating American Brexit.
Well, see, we didn't. We just asked for our independence. We didn't actually like remove ourselves entirely.
Correct.
So it's like technically she's still our queen. We just don't pay much attention to her.
Yeah, I totally get it. Megan, are you moving things
It's all right,
around?
We take it as a yes.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and say Megan is currently actively moving. It's funny in Discord because she just keeps blinking because it just picks up like little snippets of what's going on. But anyway, happy early Canada Day, Liam.
Thank you.
No problem.
I guess.
I guess that's the
I
thing
mean,
that you're
the-
into.
Yeah, there are a lot of questions being raised around this. You know, we've got protesters up on Parliament Hill who the RCMP are trying to kick off, and stuff about how this is a $500 million party the city is throwing. It's still like 150 boil water advisories in rural communities around the country.
Right. It's one of those situations where, and I think this happens a lot, where the money is allocated to areas that don't actually help.
Yeah,
When it
but
probably
we're
should
real
be helping.
excited about it.
Yeah, exactly.
Apparently. Anyway, yeah. So mixed feelings, but overall, country pretty good. Rather be here than the U.S.
True.
Deadly silence.
I think there's deadly silence anyway, just so you know.
For me, a couple of things. First of all, I don't have we been here since Megan and I finished our Divinity run? I don't remember.
I believe so.
Blur in my memory. Oh yeah, that's right. Because then she abandoned me like immediately after.
Well,
I'm only making fun of her because right now she can't respond to me, which is fantastic. A couple of things. One, Twitch released like a fuckload of features, like the new mobile app, which by the way I don't understand because my mobile app didn't update. I don't know if it's like a gradual rolling out process or what. A little curious about that. I'll have to do some more research into that. But like whole slew of things with clips and sub buttons for affiliates and all kinds of crazy things going on with Twitch right now, which is cool. As well, there was, for me, as I said, I unboxed this this Xbox headset that actually player in my other game, Devin, got for me. I don't know, probably like, well, I guess it was technically for Christmas, but I saw him in like February. Finally unboxed it and started using it because I moved my computer to a separate area so that I could kind of fix my setup and stuff. Apparently Overwatch has started an update as well. Thank you, Blizzard. Appreciate that. So it was for those that don't know, I previously, up until this point, had been using a $1.50 or a $1.50 microphone that I had purchased from CVS during the Christmas season. Which, again, worked perfectly fine, to be fair. But because I had gotten so used to where the like sound settings were for that, I had not realized how... God, that's loud. I need to turn that down. Good lord. How do I turn that down? I don't know if I can. Can you turn down the volume of the little boops on Roll20? Anyway, speaking of... okay, well, that's fine. When everybody starts yelling at you, Megan, I will tell them exactly who to yell at. Oh, I can just disable it. Sick. Okay, I'm just going to disable it real quick. Right, okay, we fix it. I had apparently been listening to everything on full volume everywhere. On the internet, in sound, on everything else. In Discord. Everything had been at full volume, and then I just kind of used Discord to turn you up or down to get you to a comfortable level. But with these headphones, which are, I wouldn't say they're fully noise canceling, they're semi noise canceling. You know, it's like the deluxe Xbox One headset that you can just kind of, it's from Microsoft. But it's been an enlightening experience to have like true sound coming through my computer. Hence all of the changes. Most of you have gone down from about 125 down to about, I don't know, like 50 or lower, just because you all appear to be so loud to me now.
Jackson's got to be like a 10%, right?
I think the two that are actually lower than 50 right now are Megan. Actually, Will's a little higher. Megan and... Actually, Megan and you there, Dalton.
Hey.
Hey.
That's okay.
Hey.
It's because we're just more important. So.
Or less.
I love how you tried it. I love how you're making it like a diss at first, and now you're like, no, it's actually good.
I mean, if it's towards you, it's a diss. Anything else, it's fine. So.
Yeah, so we're gonna see how that affects the recording as well, since everything will be turned way down. This will be perhaps a much quieter episode than what we're used to, but I'm sure it'll be fine. Hopefully Chat will let me know if they can't hear anybody, which would be impossible if they had the deluxe Microsoft Xbox One headset that you can receive for approximately $29.99 at your local retail stores. Full disclosure, I'm not paid to say that. I just thought it was funny. Speaking of being paid to do things, however, when we last left our intrepid adventurers, we were a little split, just like a tiny bit split up. And by that I mean basically Jackson was doing his own thing, and everybody else was kind of with the group. Or I should say Hannibal was off on his own. Let me move everybody over to the map here so that we can get a full accounting of what's going on. Oh, and also, crap. I fixed your token, Liam, so you have a a
thank you.
non-backgrounded token that I need to update on these other pages. I only updated on one of them. Look at you. Look how adorable you are. You're even a little taller than you were before. I don't know if you noticed that because it kind of got squeezed a little bit. So, well, actually, I made it more of a box, so you're more proportional. We'll just put it that way. And also, we need to show your nameplate here real quick. And bar number 2, so everybody can see your health. Fantastic. There we go. So the 5 of you, Farron, Jericho, Aelin, Marilla, Farseer, Obek, and also Daniela to throw in there, had all ventured to the location that you understood as Garulda's house, the tavern that this demon Lieutenant Garulda had taken over. It said that she had a harem of affectionate males in her companionship, which led, I think, the group to rightfully educated guess that there was some perhaps charming going on there, and so the bards decided that it would be safer to kind of keep the party under a counter charm, as it were, to hopefully help alleviate any problems that may become of that. Exactly, counter charm go. And if you guys had come across the tavern with the light spilling out of it from the large fireplace inside of the common room, and the last scene we saw was basically, Marilla was ready to go in, and everybody was like, let's maybe take it a little bit easy. Let's feel out the situation first before we just go in guns blazing, and decided that it would be probably a good idea to go in and scope out the area before we did any hack and slashing. And the reason why you guys had taken this opportunity to do this was mostly because there was a tumultuous event in the form of a giant, what appeared to be undead dragon that had risen over the city, and being uncontrolled because our bard duo had stolen a staff from which they assume the dragon can be controlled, or at least somewhat controlled. It's stolen the staff from the Dread Necromancer, and upon doing that, had caused a chain reaction of events that caused this dragon to burst from the Church of Ulrich and ravage the city for a time, and then fly off into the distance. And so in the turmoil of everybody kind of responding to that, and in the chaos, it was a bit safer for the group of you to move around with your full allotment of equipment. And upon doing so, you decided that you would go after one of the lieutenants, which seems completely reasonable. Hannibal, on the other hand, who was actually accompanied by Kira and Malia, unbeknownst to him, had traveled over to where the illustrious Doc Manic, where he was residing, and had a couple of brief interactions involving these strangely mutated humans and dwarves and things, and had essentially set up a stakeout in which was waiting for Doc Manic to leave, and eventually, after sitting there for so long, Doc Manic did indeed, lock up and walk in, and Hannibal decided that it was his time to go scope out the interior of Doc Manic's laboratory, is what we'll call it from now on. And upon not being able to just open the door, seeing that it was locked, decided to blast it open with Eldritch Blast, thereby alerting inside all of these servants that he had seen before of Doc Manic, and the one with the large muscular arms but spaghetti legs. It actually almost seems like, and I don't know if I used this descriptor last time, but it actually seems like they're devoid of bone, perhaps. They kind of just wobble. They do the Family Guy Ron Swanson thing, where they kind of just flop around everywhere as he's moving. He had taken to the rafters and was essentially monkey swinging towards Hannibal in an act of aggression. And that's kind of where we ended that scene. Kira and Malia coming up from behind Hannibal to assist him, but Hannibal being kind of right in front. obviously we had already stated the obvious with the large undead dragon, maybe not. But I think that the other significant incident that occurred was, or two actually, there's two other significant incidents that occurred last session. One was the confirmation that Anders is at least, or was at least in the city, or is at least observing the city from a nearby location, or, you know, every so often makes appearances in the city. And so, while that was already assumed, it's good to have, like, positive identification and confirmation of that. And the second thing that occurred was Kree, back at the encampment with all of the army, had been sent out with the cavalry units, with his men, specifically the Lizardman cavalry, and the warbears of Kislev. They had marched out ahead of the rest of the army as kind of a vanguard party to go maybe make some plans, see what the city's all about, do some scout work, and hopefully within that, be able to come up with a plan for how to expedite this siege, because it's been expressed both from the enemy that's inside of the walls and also Cahill that there's no delay that can be had here. A siege of Middenheim would take literally probably years to fully root out, especially when we're talking about undead. Am I cutting out?
For me, you are just a little bit. I don't know about anyone else.
Am I cutting out for anyone else?
No.
No, not really.
Okay, it's just you, Brian.
Okay, got it.
Mini heart attack averted. So, been sent as a vanguard, especially when it would take probably at least a year to even like make a dent in the siege, due to the fact that Middenheim is a very self-sustainable place. You're not going to get very far just kind of sitting outside of Middenheim, because a lot of what they can do and what they can grow and what they can survive on, especially since a lot of them are undead, so they don't really need anything, could be grown in the city, and people can survive for quite a long time. The advantage that you have here is that the entire army of Anders, we know, because we found that out, not sure if it was last session or the session before, that Anders can't keep the entire army inside the city. There's just too many of them. So there are opportunities for raids and destruction and, you know, guerrilla tactics here, since from all, you know, you don't have a full scale, but if you're outnumbered, that's obviously a thing that can occur. So that's great. That's awesome. That's fantastic. And I think that the last thing that we probably need to talk about, and I know I said only two, but there is probably one more thing, and I'm just bringing everybody up to speed on this. There was the well incident that occurred underground down in the tunnels with Aelin and Daniela and Morella and Obek. And the group of you had done these strange, or I should say, seen this strange scene where these, you know, smoky figures had bubbled up out of the well that was built and filled the space in all of these like steam-based tables and chairs, and it appeared to be like kind of the common room of an inn, where the scene that had laid out, there was children running about, and they were obviously like humanoid, some dwarves, some humans, probably some halflings, all the discernible, I think, empirical races were represented there. And they appeared to ignore any, you know, attempt to communicate or attempt to do anything else. I think that the facts as we know them are, it is apparently some sort of divine happenstance, because the top was active during the whole scene. And beyond that, I don't think there was really a whole lot discerned, you know, from, like, outspoken at least. There might be some character or player assumptions, but I think that it was kind of chalked up to, we need more information before we can make an educated guess on what the hell we just saw. But Aelin used her power of controlling water to kind of disperse the steam that was rising up from the well and push it back down before it had a chance to spread more or before it had a chance to do any damage, if that was going to be its intent or whatever it was. It was we don't want to deal with it. We don't care really what it is. We just need to. We don't want to take a chance. We want to cover up the situation as fast as possible so that we can deal with other things going on. I think was the thought process there. Sound good to everybody? That sounds great, right? Everybody, we're all caught up on where we're at here.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think that I want to start with the 5 of you that have entered into or 6 of you technically with Daniela that have entered into the inn. Now, the name of this inn is it's probably, you know what the name is? It probably had a name, but it's been scratched out and it's been renamed now. Sorry, typing. Place of Desire. So it's probably been renamed, and as I think you guys approach, you probably saw this name. It's now called, or aptly named, Garulda's Place of Desire. Is the letters that have been written out front, and the group of you enter, and I'm actually going to move everybody over to a screen so that you guys can observe this scene with your own 2 eyes. Ooh. So upon entering the room, and I know Jackson, I know. For all intents and purposes, I'm going to give you control over Daniela so that you can at least see what the hell is going on.
Thank you.
No problem.
Daniela would like to smash Aelin.
No, you just have the ability to see what she can see.
Oh, okay.
Can you see stuff now, Jackson?
No.
Okay. I was curious, actually, if that would work. I think you actually need control over it. Okay, you should be able to see stuff now, right, Jackson?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So, as we can all see, there are quite a few people in here. There are people in all corners of the rooms. There are serving maids bussing to and forth. And I think that immediately this individual right here, in fact, there's 2 individuals that are doing it. Let me get them on screen. They have like these very crude instruments, like like the washboard they're scraping with a wooden spoon, and kind of like homemade drums, and they're creating, I'm putting this in air quotes, but only for the bards, music up by the fireplace, and are kind of entertaining the crowd. There's probably some people dancing back and forth. It's a very loud kind of cacophony of noises that are kind of invading your senses right now. There are a couple lanterns lit around the room that you can see, and I think that obviously the only thing that really looks out of place, I think, in this entire scene is this large individual back here, who appears to have an apron on, and is like serving drinks from behind the bar. His large, kind of roughly pig-like features with the goat bottom half and these big claws. He is a technically large creature, so you can see like how massive he is with these little tiny like wings attached to his back, and he's obviously quite rotund and kind of an imposing figure. The group of you is somewhat obscured. I didn't want to put every person that's in here on the map, obviously. The group of you is sort of obscured by the crowd that is gathered. And so in saying that, you notice that the large creature here, his eyes are very sharp, and you can see him looking around. He acknowledges that people have entered, but perhaps hasn't acknowledged the fact of like who or what you might be. But it is probably an interesting danger, because this individual would probably recognize, I don't know, Aelin's non demon markings and Daniela's crest on her shield. Obek being a lizardman.
Yeah.
There are a couple of things that
There might be some tiny complications.
that might clue him in. So, but outside of that, the rest of you could probably pass. We know that Farron and Jericho, you guys can kind of, like, at least somewhat conceal your weapons in a crowded room. Morella, you may have a harder time, just because you're carrying like a shield and spear, but maybe you could pass for one of the wilder folk, right? Like maybe you could pass for one of the Norsemen, or Norse women in this case. So you have a decent cover on that. And as I said before, nobody or nothing like attacks you when you enter. Like they don't grab you and try and immediately slit your throats. You're kind of just free to move about where you want to go. And in saying that, I'm going to tell you, you're free to move about where you want to go in the room. So what's the first thing everybody does when you kind of enter into this establishment? Now remember, it's quite late at night. In addition to the fact that all of the incidents that have occurred within the city, or I should say the one specific large incident, appears to be affecting these people zero. They appear blissfully unaware that they were very close to the entire city being destroyed.
I said I was sorry. I'm not. If no one else is leaping into action, then
I mean, I
Jericho-
would, but y'all holding me back.
Yes.
If no one is
Jericho-
stabbing anybody actively.
Yes.
Actively.
For the best.
Passively stabbing only. Jericho will lean over to Morella, even as he's still playing his counter charm,
Mm-hmm.
and say to her, "As hideous as that thing behind the bar is, I think we might want to see if we can find the owner of the establishment first."
Agreed.
Right.
Mm,
Everyone just dance along.
Okay, so
Obek is freaking out just a little bit here.
just a little bit, Obek.
Just a little bit.
Well,
What does that look like on a lizard person?
It's a good question.
You know how, if you ever see a lizard that's running away and you spook them, they just stop and stare. That's pretty much what Obek's doing.
I thought
Just the wide lizard eyes.
I thought maybe you were going to go like the octopi route and be like, I'm like my colors are shifting slightly.
I ink a little bit.
Yeah, just like a tiny little bit.
well,
I'm just moving people around randomly to make it appear like there's activity. If you guys want to move around and explore, that's totally on you guys.
yeah. All right. So, I just tell everyone to move cautiously through this.
Tactical
Crap.
mingling.
Yep. Tactically mingling. So,
So as you guys begin to move through the crowd, you can there it's packed in here. There's probably some people that you have to like avoid or run around or kind of dodge, as it were.
yeah.
And people are constantly like getting up and sitting back down at tables. Like I said, there's people dancing. It's hard to like hear yourself think even a little bit, I think, in here. There's certainly like an amount of like, have you ever been in a nightclub and the music is playing like very loudly and it's kind of thumping in your eardrums? Imagine that as kind of like what is going on here. Do any of you interact with the guests as they're, kind of moving about and you can hear there's snippets of conversation that you can kind of hear, like between people talking and asking the barmaids and serving the wait staff, we'll call it, asking him for drinks and food and all that other fun stuff.
Morella wouldn't say anything unless she's spoken to directly. So she doesn't actively seek out individuals to mingle with, one would say.
Okay.
Seems like she is just on the prowl, one would say.
Okay. That
she is
could have
she
a
does
very
have, like,
that could have a lot of contexts in this particular tavern.
she is looking for Garuda, or what she thinks is Garuda.
Yeah, I mean, like, you don't have a description per se, except that you know that, like, a beautiful being or creature.
Yeah.
That's kind of all that you have. I see you all huddled around this table. Are you going to try and, like, take the table?
No. That's just where I stopped. But it seems like she's, like, looking for, like, back rooms, other rooms.
Mhm.
Peering down those rooms for, like, a little bit. She's not being discreet about this. Essentially, if that makes sense.
Okay.
It doesn't look like she's being very discreet. It's definitely like she's looking for something if someone were to look over at her.
Obek is making a very active role to stay between Aelin and Daniela.
Yeah, seems good.
I actually think that Aelin and Daniela would have a seat at this table right here, and just kind of
With these couple of people standing by here.
Yeah.
So everybody stop real quick so I can describe some more things. So Aelin and Daniela, you guys are seated at this table, and maybe Obek, maybe you said you're in between them, so maybe you're like sitting on the bench like this. So this individual appears to have the like kind of the look of a traveler. He's got like a pack that you can see propped up on the floor, like against the wall, and you can see like the telltale signs of like a sleeping roll and like a coil of rope. You can actually see that underneath his tunic, he has like a leather jerkin that's kind of laced down a little bit. I think that immediately, without even needing to make like a perception check or anything, you can tell that he appears inebriated. You can see that there are a couple of empty mugs probably next to him, and he appears to be kind of like maybe like swaying just a little bit in his chair. And you don't see any like weapons or anything on him, but he does have I think probably tied to his pack. You can see that there's like a small like wooden shield that's kind of like propped up against the pack as well. This woman over here, she actually looks like perhaps a midwife. She's a little bit larger in stature. She has like the kind of grayish white robes on. But the reason why I say she looks like she might be a midwife is because you can see that there's a bag open next to her that has what you can tell just like peeking up over the top of it, like some balms or like some salves perhaps. You can see that she also is sitting there quietly kind of reading a book. And you can see that on the book it says like what is it? What's the title of this book? It probably says it is the equivalent of Midwives for Dummies, I think. And you can see she's like fully like engrossed in this book and not really paying attention to things around here. To the point of you can see that she's got like a plate of food in front of her that's kind of half finished, and I think you can see like some flies or something just like kind of landing on it and eating it. And she's not doing anything to like shoo them away or anything. But she seems like transfixed though. It's strange, like almost as if she's ignoring everything else around her. And this man right here, he looks like a man of the rugged type. He's got a big bushy beard. He's got leather skins is basically his entire outfit from head to toe. You can see that he actually has a hunting bow propped up against the table. And I think that you can immediately recognize this man as one of the Norsemen. But he appears to be sitting down, kind of quietly eating his food, and he's got a drink in front of him. But in the manner in which he is moving, it seems very methodical and like he's not inebriated, much like the adventuring boy next to you. As far as ages are concerned, this man is probably in his early 40s, so somewhat older. This woman is probably in her late 20s, and this boy over here, and I'm calling him a boy because he appears to be a teenager, maybe 18 or 19 at the absolute most. Does the group of you like address anyone specifically in the at the table, or do you simply just sit down and kind of wait?
I think that Aelin would lead into the woman reading and try to get her attention.
Yeah, I think that...
Which clearly I know is going to be difficult.
Yeah, if you like lean in, or even if you say anything to her, like, excuse me, you get nothing.
Alright, well, I'm not gonna like snap in her face to try to get her attention, so I guess she would just lean out and with a confused kind of look on her face and look around to see if Morella or others have already disappeared into the crowd.
Yeah, probably Morella would have just started disappearing deeper into the crowd.
What about you, Obek? Are you just kind of locked in place?
Pretty much. Like it's more following by instinct at this point than like conscious thought. He's not sure what to do with the demon, and it's kind of screwing with him.
Okay, cool. You're gonna have to bear with me for a moment because my computer appears to have froze. I think I might have too many Google Chrome instances open. Appears to be
Didn't know that was possible.
Yeah, considering Google Chrome soaks up like all of the memory in your computer that has ever existed in the history of time, the virtual memory, I should say, the RAM. It likes to have some issues. Also, for my new audio setup, I can't have my fan on anymore, so it gets extra hot in this fucking room. A lot of her attention on the Norseman that's sitting next to her because he is clearly like he's kind of actively an invader, whereas the other two individuals here might not be. You know what I mean? He's very clearly one of the Norsemen, and so I think that she's keeping a well-trained eye on him, and he appears to be again methodically, not really paying attention to you, methodically kind of cutting up his food, putting some in his mouth, takes a drink, sets the cup down, cuts some more of his food, puts it in his mouth, takes a drink, puts it down. Oh, okay, Google Chrome. We're just gonna go black screen, huh? Just how we do it here? Is that just what happens? It's just how we go there, Google Chrome. Cool. This is not great. Can any of you hear me right now? Okay, good. Yeah, the computer is like actively freaking out. This is good. This is working. So on the recording, YouTube, I apologize for this. Not a whole lot I can do, so I'm just gonna talk. Because my computer appears to be extremely uncooperative today. And for that I apologize. And because I don't really have time to video edit, you just have to bear with all of this dead air in which I'm just going to talk. I'd like to thank everybody for being here, though. I'm glad you all could make it. Man, everything is just frozen. Frozen. Bum, 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 bum. Well, if you can still hear me, YouTube, we may just stop the recording and restart it and have two part ones. What are you gonna do? Sometimes that happens. If you're listening to this, go ahead and go to part 1.2. Go ahead and head out to part 1.2. That'll probably be your best bet. Because I am going to stop the recording and start again. I apologize to everyone for this. I don't know why this has decided to be such a butt right now. But apparently we can't have nice things. We can't have nice things. Nice things are not a thing we can have. So as extra shitty as it might be, this is kind of just where we're stuck at. Kind of just where we're stuck at.
But it's terrible.
Hello? Hello.